Hey folks, pull up a chair and listen to a story about yours truly, Ben, 34, male. The fun-loving, easygoing guy who's always had a passion for two things, traveling and teaching. Looking back at everything, I couldn't be happier with the way my life has turned out, and it's all because of what I'm about to share with you all. See, my job as an English teacher opened up a world of opportunities for me, literally. Teaching English gave me the chance to travel around the globe, explore new places, and experience different cultures. It was like a dream come true. And I felt so blessed to be living my two favorite things. When I turned 25, life took me on an adventure I never expected. I landed a teaching gig in Nigeria, and that's where I found the love of my life, Abiola. She was a Yoruba beauty, and from the moment we met, there was a connection that couldn't be denied. Sure, Abiola's English wasn't that great at first, but love has a funny way of breaking language barriers. With time, love, and a whole lot of grace, Abiola picked up English like a pro, and I did my best to learn some Yoruba too. We were like our own little multicultural language exchange program, and it was adorable. Now, let me tell you, marrying Abiola was no walk in the park. Her parents were strict and traditional, and they weren't too thrilled about their daughter getting hitched to a white guy. They were worried that their culture would get lost in the mix. And you know what? I understood their concerns. But I was determined to show them that my love for Abiola was real, and I wasn't about to let cultural differences stand in our way. I sat down with her parents, assured them of my commitment, and convinced them that I wasn't just some random dude passing through. It took some time, but I guess my charm and sincerity worked because they eventually gave us their blessing. Phew, talk about a relief. It was like passing a final exam with flying colors. And you know what? Our wedding was the perfect blend of cultures. Yoruba traditions mixed with some good old Western flair. We had two weddings, one back home in the States and one in Nigeria. They were celebrations to remember, and I knew right then and there that I had found my happily ever after with Abiola. We decided to honeymoon in her home country, and life was sweet for a while. All right, so here's where the plot thickens. Abiola had always dreamed of living in the US, and you know what? I was more than happy to go along with it. After all, love is about supporting each other's dreams, right? But her parents? Yeah. They weren't exactly thrilled about the idea. They thought Abiola was just blindly following her husband and leaving everything behind. I get it. They were worried about their daughter being so far away from home. But hey, we reassured them that this was Abiola's decision and she was excited about it. You're just dragging her away from her family and her roots. I knew that this was a bad idea. Abiola, you're not leaving your home just because of this man. I tried my best to explain. No, this is Abiola's dream, and I want to make it happen for her. She's always wanted to experience life in the US, and I'll do whatever it takes to support her. I know you're scared for me, but I can assure you this is what I want. No, it's what I need. Chai, so you want to leave us here? You're tired of your culture and your country? Yes. You see, Francine, she's even talking back to us. I know everything that there is to know about Nigeria, about Africa. I'm ready to explore and take on bigger things. Don't you want that for me? But no matter what we said, they just couldn't wrap their heads around it. They blamed me for poisoning their daughter's mind as if she didn't have her own desires and dreams. It's not like that. Like Ben said, I've always wanted to live in the US, and he is making it possible for me. I love him, and we want this together. Besides, we have so many family members who are living in New York. We have such a big Nigerian community on that side also. I'll be fine. Her parents were still skeptical, and I could feel the tension between us. It was like they stopped respecting me and reverted to their dismissive and rude ways. But you know what? I wasn't going to let that bring us down. Abiola and I knew what we wanted, and we were determined to live our best life together. So we packed our bags and moved to the US, ready to start this new chapter. As the years passed, Abiola settled pretty seamlessly into Western culture. We were creating memories and building a future together. But you know what? At some point, as any daughter would, Abiola missed her parents terribly. She wished they could see that living in the US wasn't so bad, and maybe they would even consider retiring here someday. That's when she got an idea. She decided to invite her parents to stay with us for a whole month. She hoped that spending time together would show them that America had its perks, the beauty, the opportunities, and the chance to be with their daughter and her new life. Now, convincing them wasn't an easy task. They had their reservations, but Abiola persisted, sharing her love for her new home and her wish to have them in her life. She'd share pictures and videos and all these stories of her achievements and accomplishments, and finally, after much back and forth, they relented and agreed to come. All right, so Francine and Henry finally arrived in the US, and let me tell you, they were in for a surprise. They were used to a more laid-back lifestyle back home, and the hustle and bustle of New York City life was a bit overwhelming for them. They tried to adapt, but man, did they complain about everything, from the traffic to the fast-paced lifestyle. They had something to say about it all, and I don't blame them, but it was getting a bit excessive in my opinion. They'd say things like, "Henry, this place is too noisy. I can't even hear myself think." "I know, dear, and the food is just not the same. I miss our home-cooked meals. What they feed you people here is rubbish." Despite the constant complaining, Abiola and I were determined to change their minds about America. We wanted them to see the beauty and opportunity this country had to offer. So I hatched a plan to win them over. I decided to prepare a traditional Nigerian dish, jollof rice, for them. I knew how much they valued their culture and food, so I thought this might be a way to connect with them. I was nervous as I cooked, hoping that my jollof rice would meet their expectations. Abiola assured me that it tasted lovely and she was confident they'd be pleased. When dinner time came, we all sat down to eat the food I had prepared. I was eager to see their reaction, but what happened next caught me completely off guard. As they tasted the jollof rice, both Henry and Francine began making rude comments about the food in Yoruba. This jollof rice is nothing compared to what we have back home. And the spices are all wrong. What did we expect? Letting this white man cook for us. Little did they know I had a secret. I was fluent in Yoruba. Over the years I had picked up the language from my Nigerian friends and Abiola, but I never let on that I could understand everything they were saying. I was actually planning to reveal my language skills after dinner as another gesture to get into their good graces, but as they continued to criticize the jollof rice, I felt increasingly embarrassed and hurt. Abiola tried to intervene, attempting to get them to stop, but she didn't tell them that I could understand Yoruba. She didn't even get the chance to, because they kept on disgracing and demeaning me, not knowing that I could understand every word. "This chicken isn't even cooked properly." "Oh, Abiola, you have to come back home. This is not okay." "Mom, Dad, please stop. You don't know that Ben can hear." "Oya, stop defending this man. I knew we made a mistake letting you come here. You said that America would be filled with wonder and adventure. But what is this nonsense?" It was like a punch to the gut, hearing them insult me and America like that. I had tried so hard to win their approval and show them that I loved their daughter, but it seemed like nothing I did was ever good enough for them. As dinner ended, I excused myself, feeling the weight of their words heavy on my heart. Abiola followed me, knowing that I wasn't okay. "Babe, are you okay?" I couldn't hold it any longer. They were insulting me, Abiola. They didn't like my jollof rice, and they were saying all kinds of mean things about me. "I know, babe. I was there. I'm so sorry about everything. I genuinely thought that they'd be more receptive since we haven't seen them in so long. But I was wrong. I should have told them you understand Yoruba." "It's not your fault. I mean, how could you even get a word in? I just wanted to impress them, you know. Show them that I love you and respect your culture." Abiola kissed my forehead. Her eyes filled with love. I love you, and that shouldn't have happened to you. Your jollof was amazing. Don't listen to anything they say. I'm going to tell them that you could understand every word. Then they'll be sorry. And that's when it hit me. Actually, babe, wait. Don't tell them. What? Why not? Well, because I have a trick up my sleeve. I'm going to get your parents to respect me one way or another. The next day, I decided to approach Francine and Henry again. I knew I couldn't let their hurtful comments get the best of me. With a deep breath, I went up to them, putting on a smile despite the pain in my heart. Hey, guys. Yes, my son, what is it? I wanted to apologize for the jollof rice last night. I could tell from your expressions that it wasn't up to your standards, I said, trying my best to conceal the fact that I understood everything they had said in Yoruba. Francine and Henry seemed slightly taken aback by my apology, perhaps feeling a twinge of remorse, but their remorse was brief and they quickly backslid to their rude and dismissive behavior. Well, you certainly have a lot to learn about our food. I swear, and after all these years, you'd think that you'd learn a thing or two about Nigeria. It's disappointing, really. But let's not dwell on that. Ben, you need to convince Abiola to come back to Nigeria with us. This place isn't right for her. I looked at them, standing my ground. I can't convince Abiola to leave the life she loves here. We are building a life together in the US, and she's happy here. They scoffed, clearly not willing to budge, but I had one last trick up my sleeve to show them that America was a lovely place. I took a deep breath and revealed my plan. I'm hosting an event for Nigerians in the area, including some of Abiola's cousins and aunties, as well as other Nigerians within the community here in Brooklyn. Francine and Henry seemed intrigued by the idea. An event with other Nigerians? That might be nice. Yes, maybe seeing others from our community will lift our spirits. I went on to explain that the event would be a celebration of Nigerian culture, with music, dance, and delicious Nigerian food. They beamed at this, but they didn't know what else I had in store for them. Abiola's cousins, friends, and aunties arrived, embracing us with love and warmth. Seeing her reconnect with her family brought tears to my eyes. I was so proud of the woman I married and the community she came from. Some of my Nigerian friends pulled up as well, and we were all having a blast. Francine and Henry seemed to be enjoying themselves as well, immersing themselves in the rich culture that surrounded them. They chatted with other Nigerians, sharing stories and laughter. At this point, the event was in full swing and the atmosphere was electric. People had brought a plethora of mouth-watering Nigerian dishes, filling the air with delightful aromas. The dance floor was alive with vibrant moves and the laughter echoed through the room. I watched from time to time, and I could see that both Henry and Francine, as much as they were engaging with the community, tried to keep to themselves for the most part. They were in the corner at times, pointing at people and talking crap, no doubt. As the night wore on, I felt the right moment approaching. I wanted to address the crowd and speak my heart out. With a deep breath, I made my way to the podium. Thank you everyone for coming to this celebration. I'm honored to be part of this lovely community. I want to especially thank my wife, Abiola, for everything that she's done for me and this community. The crowd oohed and awed at my words, and I found my wife blushing from the embarrassment. She mouthed an "I love you," and I blew her a kiss. And then the time came for my surprise. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for her parents. The crowd gasped, and they began to look around, trying to figure out where the culprits were standing, and all eyes turned to Francine and Henry. The look of utter shock on their faces was priceless, and Abiola couldn't help but stifle a laugh. In Yoruba, I began to address my in-law, speaking from the heart. I acknowledged that they had been dismissive and disrespectful to me, despite my efforts to be the perfect son-in-law. I've tried my best to be a part of your family, to show you respect and love, but it seems you are determined to remain distant and unaccepting of me. I revealed a truth that surprised everyone. The jollof rice they were enjoying so much tonight was the same one I had prepared for them a week ago, the same one they had hated. I wanted to show them that their disapproval wasn't about the food, it was about me. People in this community have praised my jollof, and yet you couldn't find it in your hearts to appreciate it when it came from me. I continued, my voice tinged with a mix of frustration and disappointment. The crowd gasped in disbelief, and the murmurs spread like wildfire. People began praising my cooking skills and commending my integration into the Nigerian culture, utterly shocked at Francine and Henry's unfounded disapproval. I don't need to vie for your attention or affection anymore. I just wanted to let you know that I am worthy of your daughter, even if you don't see it, and I will continue to be worthy of her because I love her, truly. The applause from the crowd was thunderous, drowning out any disapproval from my in-laws. People recognized the love I had for Abiola and the effort I had put into embracing their culture. Francine and Henry looked taken aback, perhaps realizing the consequences of their actions. Abiola stood by my side, her hand in mine, showing her unwavering support. Francine couldn't contain her surprise and blurted out, How is this possible?" She looked flustered and her eyes darted around the room searching for answers, but she was just met with judgmental faces. Serves her right. Meanwhile, Henry, still taken aback, was unsure of how to react. He quickly tried to save face by grabbing Francine's hand and dragging her out of the venue. They both left in a hurry, looking extremely embarrassed. The rest of the guests, including Abiola and me, continued to dance the night away, enjoying the lively atmosphere. The room was filled with joy and celebration, and many of our friends commended me for my fluency in Yoruba. "Ben, you're amazing. I had no idea you could speak Yoruba so well." "Yeah, man, that was impressive. You really surprised everyone." As the night wore on, the music and laughter filled the air, creating an unforgettable atmosphere of unity and happiness. The Nigerian community embraced me as one of their own, appreciating my efforts to learn and immerse myself in their culture. The next day, as Abiola and I arrived home from the party, we found Francine and Henry sitting in the living room. They looked a bit sheepish, as if unsure how to approach the situation. Henry was the first to speak up, his voice a bit hesitant. "Ben, we didn't know you could speak Yoruba. That was quite a surprise last night." I nodded, looking at them calmly. "I was planning to reveal it to you last week after the dinner I prepared, but after the way you insulted me, I couldn't bring myself to do it. It hurt to see how dismissive you were of me." Francine seemed taken aback, her eyes widening with surprise. "Well, you shouldn't have embarrassed us like that in front of everyone. Now everyone here thinks we're cruel." I couldn't hold back my response any longer. "You shouldn't have treated me like crap for so long. I have done my best to be a good husband to your daughter and to integrate into your culture, but you made it clear that my efforts weren't enough. So maybe it's about time that people see your true colors." Both Francine and Henry were shocked to hear such backtalk. It seemed they were not used to being confronted in this way. But they also looked more embarrassed, realizing that their behavior had consequences within the Nigerian community. You see, this community has embraced me and accepted me for who I am. They recognized the love I have for Abiola and the respect I have for their culture, and that's all that matters to me. Francine and Henry seemed at a loss for words, their pride and dismissiveness crumbling in the face of truth. It was clear that they were processing what I had said, and perhaps for the first time reflecting on their own actions. Abiola stood by my side, showing her support. "Ben is right. He has been a wonderful husband and he loves me deeply. We have a beautiful life together and we won't let anyone belittle that." "Abiola, you are not going to defend us, your parents? What behavior is this?" Abiola looked at her mother with a mix of sadness and determination. "I will always defend what's right, Mom. Even if it means going against you two. I love you both, but I won't condone disrespectful behavior, especially if you're doing it for no reason." Francine huffed and puffed, clearly upset that her actions were being questioned. "Well, we were just expressing our opinions. We didn't mean to cause any harm." "We didn't think Ben could understand us. It was a private conversation." Abiola shook her head, disappointed. Private conversation or not, it was hurtful, and it's not just about that incident, it's about how you've treated Ben over the years. Francine's stubbornness seemed to resurface, and she folded her arms defiantly. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Abiola's voice grew firmer as she responded. This is not about proving anything. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and showing respect to the people you love. If you're going to be disrespectful, then maybe it's best if you both leave, Abiola added firmly, her eyes unwavering. Francine and Henry looked totally shocked by Abiola's assertiveness. They glanced at each other, probably wondering if she was serious. But Abiola stood her ground, and her parents finally got that she meant every word she said. Still, with their pride intact, Francine and Henry got up and left the house, trying to act all dignified, but it was pretty obvious that their pride was starting to crumble under the weight of what they had done, and the consequences they were facing. As they left, Abiola let out a heavy sigh, feeling a mix of emotions in her heart. Standing up to her parents wasn't easy, but she knew it was necessary for everyone's growth, and for us as a family. We haven't really talked to them properly ever since the incident, but everybody, the Nigerian community, their friends, their family, Abiola and me, knows that they're in the wrong. Heck, even they know that they're wrong. But I'm just waiting for the day that they're willing to admit that, so that we can grow together as a big family.